Hey guys, Adrian here for Digital Dojos at DigitalDojos.com, and today we're going to be talking all about Google I/O. So this conference that Google hosts every year that talks a lot about their new software developments, and it's a lot for the developers, kind of like Apple's WWDC is. It shows a lot of the stuff that's upcoming, but it's also a big PR event because they talk about the next generation of Android and sometimes devices, and there's a lot packed into this keynote. So I want to kind of talk about an overview of a lot of things that happen and the things that are kind of worth mentioning. So first off, let's start off with Android L. That's what they're calling kind of their next iteration of Android, the next version of Android. It's based on what they're calling material design. That's really what the big overhaul of it is. And it has a whole new UI, so we're going to be throwing up some pictures here kind of showcasing the new UI. It's really clean. It focuses more on softer edges, flatter look. So that seems to be the trend lately with design. So it's really flat. Softer edges, small UI tweaks here and there, a lot of big changes on overall in apps and stuff of that nature. But another big thing it does with material design is it aims for big unification across Chrome, across mobile devices, all that sort of thing. It aims to unify all that Android experience by giving you better overall unification when it comes to multitasking. So like, for example, having tabs and websites you visit on your laptop on Chrome show up on your phone and integrating better that way so you have a seamless experience, whether it's your phone, tablet, or laptop, your Chromebook. There's a lot of other things that are packed into Android L. They went over stuff like the notification system and how they changed that. So there's a lot of incremental improvements as terms of features, stuff that was decent in Android and some stuff that they're just kind of working on and improving. Search, notifications are those two big things. So that's really Android L. It's something you really got to see and take a look at. Really interesting, really like the new user interface and the design they're going with. So that's definitely something to look at. Another big focus at Google I/O, which I was most excited about, was the Android Wear. So as many of you know who follow technology, smartwatches are a huge thing right now. And I'm a huge fan of traditional watches, but smartwatches are, where technology and digital meets kind of this analog device that we use to tell time. And while there's a lot of watches featured, they talked about the LG, the Gear Live from Samsung, which was released at a $200 price point. I think the most promising one that I want to spend time talking about is the Moto 360. I did a whole article on this. The specs weren't quite released. They're still a little bit, Motorola is a little bit secret on the specs, but it is one of the best looking smartwatches to date. It has a nice kind of leather adjustable strap. It is a round interface, very traditional to the look and feel of a watch. It looks very lightweight, and from what everybody has said who's tested it, it is very lightweight. But the Android interface that they have on it looks really great, and it's a way for you to interact with your multiple devices. And again, a part of that unification of Android L, it's going to integrate well with your phone. It's going to integrate well with your tablet, and not just tablet and the car and your TV. These are all things that Android is in a general is trying to look to unify that whole experience together. So with the Moto 360, you're going to be able to do things like Google Now commands. You're going to be able to say like, Google this, search this, give me directions, reply to a text. If you get calls, you're going to be able to answer or dismiss those. So we'll be throwing some pictures of that. But I think with the whole race for Android Wear in general, they obviously are coming out the gates in terms of the smartwatch category with 3 promising watches right now: the LG, Gear Live by Samsung, and Moto 360. These are really going to push the pace for the smartphone market and kind of compete against the other smartwatches out there. Their interface, it's a means to extend your connection with your phone. Think of it as an extension for you, rather to pull out your phone out of your pocket, or if you're driving, if you can glance at your wrist and quickly dismiss something with a voice command or just a quick gesture or swipe, it's much more easier than having to pull your phone or tablet out and dismiss those things. Then they went to go into the car section. They talked a lot about automobiles and Google in your car, Android Auto, and how they're going to be partnering with a lot of different car manufacturers to integrate Google within the car as well. They talked about directions and GPS. So basically, they're really looking to go all Android across many platforms. Like I said earlier, your phone, your tablet, your car, tablet, and TV. And that leads me into Android TV. It's another take on Google trying to get into your TV and your living room space. We've seen this before with a couple of devices, but they talked about Android TV, how it's going to be software that you can integrate into set-top boxes and TVs in general. They're going to be partnering with TV manufacturers to provide an Android experience. Think of it as like any other set-top box, like a Roku or an Apple TV. It gives you a means and interface to watch movies and Netflix and all that stuff. And the interface looks really clean and it's really neatly designed. It has a remote that's going to enable you to use it to surf through your television shows and movies, as well as play video games. Because along with that, They introduced some updates to the Chromecast, which is a little $35 dongle. I believe it's the price point. You can use it to plug in to a traditional TV and use that to sling movies and all things of that nature. There's a big focus on cloud stream. Basically, you can watch your content from anywhere you're at, so as long as your Chromecast is plugged into a TV at home or whatever. We're not too sure on the details about how it's going to do this, but basically it's going to stream the content over the network. So no matter where you are, if you have your Chromecast or this set up, you can stream content from the cloud and the internet over to whatever TV you want to watch it from. They're also going to be integrating mirroring functions. So now if you know what AirPlay is for iOS, that's a big thing for iOS. You can AirPlay your phone to your Apple TV, so you can watch things on the big screen or you can watch it on your Mac. Android is now going to be integrating that as well with their new Chromecast, so you can sling your Android tablet or phone onto a big screen. Last but not least, I want to close out with the desktop talk. They did talk a little bit about the Chromebooks and Android apps on Chrome. You're going to be seeing some integration back and forth between the Android apps and the Chrome interface, but more importantly, the Chromebooks, they're laptops that are based on a web OS, all on the internet. You're going to be able to see them integrate much more better with the Android apps and all that thing. So Chromebooks, if you guys are interested in that, it's definitely something to look into. There's a lot of updates coming out for those. Things we didn't hear about Google Glass. There's no mention of the Glass program or how that's going and the recent updates they've done to that. So far, the big focus has been Android L and the Android Wear, and I think those are the two most exciting things. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on all of this, as far as the Android Wear and the smartwatches. Are they something that you may be interested in? Android L, if you're an Android user, is that something? Or an iOS user and you're thinking about moving over? Leave it all in the comments below. We're going to have tons of content popping out over at DigitalDojos.com, so do check that out. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll catch you all in the next video.